Hey, what's up guys? Aaron HD here. And if you remember from my last video about 3G, I mentioned 4G technologies. Well, I'm going to get into that right now. Now, when talking about 4G, it's important to know that there was actually 4G standards. However, neither of those were actually 4G. The ones that you all may know, 4G and LTE, technically are not 4G. Now, I'm going to get into how that's possible right now. Now, first, I'm going to get into 4G. Now, 4G, more technically known as mobile WiMAX, first made its debut in 2006 in South Korea. It was then moved into the United States and introduced on the Sprint network in 2008. Now, even though 4G came to the United States in 2008, it wasn't until 2010, well, June 4th, 2010 to be exact, that 4G was made available on smartphones. Now, as an added note, the HTC Evo 4G was actually the first 4G released phone. It was also released on the Sprint network, which we all know was the first to adopt 4G in the United States. Now, prior to that release in 2010, remember, like I said, 4G was available in the United States in 2008. However, it wasn't available on smartphones until 2010. 4G was made first available on USB modems. Now, mobile WiMAX brought along speeds of around 128 megabits per second downlink and 56 megabits per second uplink. Now, that's a great improvement over the speeds that 3G was offering. Now, let's move into LTE. LTE was first introduced in 2009 outside of the United States. Countries such as Norway and Sweden were some of the first to adopt LTE. Now, LTE also boasted speeds theoretically of around 100 megabits per second downlink and 50 megabits per second uplink. That's a little bit slower than what 4G was offering. Now, although 4G was available in the United States in 2008, it wasn't made available on the commercial market until about 2010 when it was introduced in smartphones, and LTE came out around the same time in 2010. Metro PCS was the first to announce LTE in the United States in 2010. However, it wasn't until 2011 that smartphones were being manufactured with LTE included. Now, as an added fact, the HTC Evo 4G LTE, which is a 4G and LTE smartphone, made its debut May 4th, 2012. And as of November 2012, just about every major cell phone company has supported the LTE platform. Companies like Verizon, Metro PCS, Sprint, AT&T, T-Mobile, US Cellular, they all supported 4G LTE by November. Now, if you remember my last video, I stated that 3G was classified under a standard called IMT 2000. Well, 4G is also classified under a standard, and that standard being IMT Advanced. Now, IMT Advanced requires that for a technology to be considered 4G, it has to at least provide 100 megabits per second for what they call high mobility communications, and around 1 gigabit per second for what they call low mobility communications. Now, high mobility communications being trains, cars, etc., and low mobility communications being smartphones and people. Now, since 4G and LTE, as well as a third one, UMB, which I'll touch on in a minute, didn't really meet the IMT Advanced standards, they technically are not 4G. However, who's going to question it, right? Now, I'll touch on UMB. Now, UMB was technically supposed to provide speeds of around 275 megabits per second down and around 75 megabits per second up. However, it was canceled, it was ditched in favor of LTE. Sorry, UMB, you didn't make the cut. Now, since neither of those 4G branded technologies really lived up to the IMT Advanced standard, hey, I'll mention some that actually do. You have Mobile WiMAX Release 2, also known as WiMAX 2.0, as well as LTE Advanced. Now, I won't cover those two in this video. However, I will in a 5G video. All right, guys, that's all I have for you today. Please be sure to check out some of my other videos on 3G, 2G, and 1G. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and I'll leave some links on the next page on how you can follow me. I'm Aaron HD. Peace.